Hey there, and thanks for stopping by. This is Jacqueline with Sound Body Wisdom, and I really wanted to speak to sort of why I do this work, and it really is because I believe in the potential of every single one of us that we can create deep health and vivacity through our awareness and our thoughts and our choices, and that how we think and the habits that we've developed that we don't even realize, how they influence our cells and our body and the relationship between sort of mind body, how we think, and then our physiology, and this incredible sort of it's like a three-ring circus, but this also a beautiful orchestra that happens inside of neurotransmitters and chemicals and responses, and it's incredible when you learn what the body's doing, and then vastly even that much more amazing when you realize all the threads that influence who we are, how we see the world, how we experience ourselves, how we experience the world. All the science and all the knowledge that we have thus far, to me, it's the tip of the iceberg. It's incredible and amazing what we've learned so far, and even what science is backing up. If we need it to be validated by science, well, now we have so much of that testing and validation. But I think that there's so much that we may never understand, and that's why, if we can't understand it intellectually or through tests or scientific data, what I feel like we're left with is really coming back to our own sense of empowerment through intuition, being able to listen to our own bodies, basically like on a cellular level. I mean, if you think about it, we're made of, a few trillion cells in our bodies, these tiny, wise, communicative entities that we need for everything that we do and for staying alive. And each one of those cells has, a function and its own lifespan and its own wisdom. And there's ways we understand how our cells are impacted, and then we're learning all the time ways that we couldn't have imagined 20 years ago, how our cells work and the things that influence them. So all that I'm saying here so far is really like, we are vast and incredible, and there's still an incredible amount of mystery, as well as in the last 20 years, the amount of data that we're really coming to understand and accept about mind-body connectivity. It's pretty, pardon the pun, but it's mind-blowing. So that's why I get excited about this, is because I really do believe in each of us. And sort of like, if you had a power, like say your superpower was, invisibility, like what would you do with that power? So I sort of feel like we have a superpower, like this deep potential within us, this vast resource of us within. And it's like, okay, if you could talk directly to your cells, and your cells in your body, like they influence how you think, how you feel, what you believe about yourself, and then how that affects your health. Like if you had that power, like what would you do with it? And each of us has that power. We've been disconnected, I think, from understanding that, for a variety of reasons. Like, I'm not so interested in pointing to, how limitations have gotten, created. But obviously we do. We have blind spots or barriers or limitations, each of us. And there's overlap in how that exists for some of us. And then we also have sort of our own unique conditioning. And these are challenges, and nothing I say is to ever invalidate or minimize the challenges each of us experiences in our lives, on any level, whether it's emotional or physical, the way our thoughts might limit us, or situations we find ourselves in. This is just about offering different tools for, well, how do you work with that? And how do you access this power inside of you to do things differently and to think outside the box that I think we often tend to think in the beautiful way that we can compartmentalize, or just what we've been told growing up. In a lot of ways, it is a brave new world. When you look at how far even brain research has come, and understanding new things that we couldn't have imagined 20 years ago. And some of the biggest, research institutes really saying, yeah, mind-body practices, this is real, and stress and the way we think, how it influences the body, this is all real, and they're investing time and money in this. And not that I needed that to be validated by large medical research institutions, but it's saying, yeah, let's own this. Let's say this is something that should be in our toolkit for being healthy and for thriving in our lives. And that I think is beautiful. So everything that I have developed with Sound Body Wisdom and that I put out in the world is based on the knowing, the total belief in how much power is in each one of us. And from my own journey, from, getting to a point where, I'll use that term, I felt like I was at rock bottom. And this is a while back, but I had a choice. I'm like, okay, I can just sort of drown in this and sink or close myself off, or what can I do here? And drawing on so many different practices and then figuring out how to creatively improvise to get them to work for me and my unique conditioning so that I could tap my power, not only tap into it, but know how to access it so I could flourish and then use it to transform ways that I used to think or be in the world and any place that limited me. So I was able to do this, and if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it. So all these tools and the things I talk about are, drawing on trainings and things that I've learned, but also shape-shifting them and then coming up with new ways to access them. Because, one shoe does not fit all. It doesn't work that way. And one technique that works for someone doesn't necessarily work for another. And I think sometimes we feel like we failed if it doesn't work for us. Because look, it worked for all these people. And I think the journey of loving ourselves, the journey of resourcing in ourselves, the journey of tapping our amazing superpowers is about finding how it works for us and having support and an ally to help us co-creatively take all the things that we know and adapt them for our unique situation or the way our mind works. Because our minds are incredibly clever, in sort of maintaining these habits or patterns. And so we want to find ways to work with what's happening inside, not try to destroy these patterns, or, I don't really work with language that is destructive or about, separating. I'm really about bringing all these thoughts and patterns and things together inside, getting to know them and figure out how to use them as allies to work with this greater resource inside. And really just to be where you are every day and never doubt that every step of, say, growing your personal awareness, or every step towards being proactive and empowered to change habits or see the world differently, to interrupt how you normally relate to the world or to yourself, that every step that's your power, and that's brilliant and that's beautiful. So that's just a little sort of like, this is why I'm excited about this work, and everything that I'll be offering is really to help keep it not so generalized, but like, how can you work this for yourself? Like, what can you do with it? So feel free to stay in touch. Again, this is Jacqueline with Sound Body Wisdom. Thanks for taking a little time today.